This is our work on cellular chaos, statistically self-similar structures based on the chaos game. Our work belongs to the broader field of generative design. Typically, in generative design, a designer defines a desired behavior for a system or structure by specifying some constraints. Subsequently, the idea is to create multiple design alternatives, all which satisfy those constraints. This inverse process usually leads to a set of structures, such as brackets or wheels, shown in these examples, that share some common behavioral characteristics. In this work, we share a forward design method to generate such families using the chaos game. The chaos game belongs to a family of algorithms for generating fractal structures, which are defined as consisting of smaller parts similar to themselves, commonly called recursive self-similarity. In this case, the Sierpinski triangle can be seen by infinitely zooming in. In the chaos game, we start with a convex polygon and a point, in this case, this orange point. Using this point, we randomly select a vertex of the polygon and move towards it by a specified fractional distance between the point and the chosen vertex. This process is repeated with a new vertex chosen randomly each iteration. Such a repetition leads to a fractal pattern of points. To generate a structure based on the fractal pattern, we use the well-known Voronoi tessellation on the points obtained from the chaos game. Because of the hierarchical nature of the point set, we use an adaptive thickening approach to create the structure. This approach allows for a few variables to be changed. The first is lambda, which is the fractional distance moved from the random point to the polygon vertex. With low values of lambda, the points are grouped towards the middle, and with high lambda, the points are grouped towards the polygon vertices. While lambda can change the point distribution, different regular polygons also create different fractal structures. Similarly, different number of iterations of the chaos game also produce different fractal structures. These values n, t, and lambda make up the set of parameters that we can change to influence the structure. The beauty of this method comes through the generation of multiple iterations. Using the same set of parameters, we obtain many different structures which all have the same parameters, but are distinct. This is due to the different starting position and different chosen vertex at each iteration. This is exactly what we mean when we call these structures statistically self-similar. Each of these structures are distinct, but belong to the same family. The question that we would like to ask is if these geometric similarities cause similar mechanical properties. We start by looking at modal analysis as a testing method. With modal analysis, we fix the boundary. The natural frequencies of the structures are then directly related to the geometry of the structure, since any change in geometry changes the natural frequency. These natural frequencies allow for statistical comparison between structures. Using the same set of parameters, we were able to determine that we get similar natural frequencies across many distinct but similar structures. This answers the question that we do get similar mechanical properties, at least in terms of modal analysis. In our second test, we changed the lambda variable. By observing the first 5 natural frequencies shown as different colors on this graph, we can see across different values of lambda, there is a direct relationship between lambda and the natural frequency for a given structure. This shows that the chaos game does create a generative design workflow in terms of modal analysis. While this process creates interesting structures, the question is, can we generate such structures on arbitrary domains? To explore this, we generalized our structure generation algorithm. We do this by creating polygons within a domain. We use wallpaper symmetries in order to create a 2 honeycomb tessellation. In each polygon, we use the chaos game to generate Voronoi points, and use adaptive thickening to obtain this structure. Similarly to the regular polygon test, we need to determine if we get similar properties with these structures. We do this by using a square domain and adding grips on either side of the structure, which can then be used under tensile loading in ANSYS. Using this setup, we compare the average stress of different structures under the same tensile force. By changing the value lambda, or fractional distance moved along the line, we see a clear correlation to average stress. We have a few example structures at different values of lambda. Overall, these results show that the chaos game provides a generative design space for tensile testing structures. We show several other types of structures in the paper. The most important result from our work is that the statistical self-similarity from the chaos game does lead to similarities in mechanical properties. Now that we have this observation, we can generate sets of structures which we know have similar properties. This can be a complementary approach to inverse generative design methods, since it allows for some level of forward design. We discuss many more results and future directions in our paper. Thank you for listening.